Welcome to DC Daily. I'm Clark Wolf, and joining me remotely in their Batcaves are Hector Navarro and Sam Levine.
Hey, I really am in my Batcave.
That's Sam's in his Batcave.
Yeah.
I got my Blu-ray set up, I got my action figures, I'm ready to go.
I love it. It's so good to see you guys. And for such a fun occasion, let's put a smile on that face. Did I do it?
Oh,
do I get it?
Creepy.
Oscar, please.
SAG award at best.
All right. Today we're revisiting 2008's The Dark Knight.
Yes.
All right, guys, let's just dive in because I know we all have a lot of thoughts. Let's start with the differences here between Batman Begins. So, like, obviously a lot of fans kind of view this as a standalone movie, but it's a sequel to Batman Begins. So what do we think? How do we think it, like, compares or builds on what Batman Begins has established?
I love this movie as a direct sequel because we didn't have to spend any important time in this movie learning about Batman anymore. We already knew Bruce Wayne's backstory. We knew Rachel Dawes' backstory. And what I love is they did not give us an origin story with the Joker. He's just there. Starting the Joker out that way, like, nope, we're not going to waste time with an origin story. This is just who he is. Welcome to this Batman adventure. I love the way they jump in like that.
I think that for a movie that is touted, and the whole trilogy is touted as being this great, sharp, stylized, realistic take on the comic book world, I think that there's a bunch of stuff that it actually does very authentically from the comic book universe. And one of those things is like its depiction of Joker. And like Sam was saying, there's no Joker origin. Now, I love seeing Jack Nicholson become the Joker at the same time that I'm watching Michael Keaton be Batman for the first time. But this to me is pure comic book. I feel like it's drawing inspiration from Batman Year One. There's no Joker in that, but we get the card at the end. And then The Dark Knight is this fully capable Batman. And it says at the beginning of The Dark Knight, he's been doing it for like a year. And now we have this sort of epic clash between him and the Joker. So like Sam, I also do love this as a continuation. I think that it wouldn't work as well without, not just without our pop culture knowledge of the characters, but without the foundation that Batman Begins laid, it wouldn't work. We wouldn't really have that feeling of the relationship between Bruce and Rachel, Bruce and Alfred, because this one is just going plop, 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 plop. Like it hits it and does not stop.
Yeah, I would say too that, you know, this is not a knock against Katie Holmes, but I actually really like this version of Rachel. I really like Maggie Gyllenhaal's casting. I feel like she brings that, like, grittiness. You know, if the Nolanverse is sort of known as being more realistic or more could actually happen, Maggie Gyllenhaal feels to me like an actual real-life Rachel Dawes. Like, she would be in there fighting, and you could see why somebody like Bruce would, you know, obviously respect her.
I would have loved to have seen Katie continue the role. I would have also loved to have seen Maggie start the role from the beginning. Like, I would have loved either of them to be able to play the role for both films to see that evolution. But I agree. I think that Maggie does a fantastic job in this movie. Yeah.
Let's get to what everybody wants to talk about. Heath Ledger's Joker. So obviously, Heath Ledger won an Oscar for this performance. It is, to most fans, the definitive on-camera interpretation of this character. Hector, you already brought up, you know, the idea of this muddled origin story.
Love
which is
it.
a wonderful, I love how he chooses to tell different versions of the story. Like, very, very cool. What do you guys think made this interpretation, aside from Heath Ledger being obviously an incredible actor, so iconic in most fans' minds?
This movie came out in 2008. The last time we saw Joker on screen was '89 Batman. So there was a good amount of people who probably had never seen that, who saw Batman Begins when they were, you know, in their early teens, you know, or, you know, maybe even kids, and then this was their follow-up movie. So this was their first Joker, and there was just something so next level about how lived in this character was for Ledger. It's one of those once-in-a-lifetime performances where the actor and the writing and the direction were a perfect match for one another. And I do love Heath Ledger in this movie.
I think the writing especially props up this character because the writing has given this version of the Joker a motivation that I think we all understand. And Alfred tells us, some men just want to watch a well burn. And we kind of get it and we can understand. And the reason I think this Joker is so iconic too is because he is straight up terrifying. My favorite Joker is probably the Mark Hamill Joker, and I would say he's 50-50. 50% a threat, 50% fun and funny. To me, Heath Ledger is like 80-20. He's 80% horrifying, scary, and 20% those little moments where it's like, did you really think you could steal our money? Yeah. Like these little moments are like, he's a funny guy.
Ta-da.
Yeah,
that's
ta-da.
That's one of my...
Yeah,
that's a good one.
Batman shows up when they're in the car chase and he's hanging out the side of the truck and he just goes, These little moments are great and they give us these little moments of levity, but he's still mostly... My God, the camera scene, the video, I mean, the Jack Nicholson video where he's talking about all the products and the Joker products that are now available in store. And you're like, this is fun. The video we get in The Dark Knight with that guy that he's torturing and then maybe killing, it's like too real. It's so damn scary. So yeah, that's why I think this Joker is so iconic.
I would have loved to have seen more of a relationship between Bruce and Batman and the Joker, because since we are entering into this version of Batman only about a year into him being Batman, I don't have that two sides of the same coin thing that I love. And to me, the Joker stands on his own so much in this movie, you kind of don't even need Batman, which is so interesting to me, because I would argue that in Batman 89, Michael Keaton and Jack Nicholson, they really are intertwined. So I like that dynamic a little better. I
agree. I think that the Bat fans and fans of this franchise know, talking about that tragedy, that absolutely, had we not lost Heath, that he would have been a part of part 3. And that would have been like incredible to see that evolution of the character as well. Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about Alfred and let's talk about Rachel. One bit of like Bruce Wayne character development that we actually do get in this movie is Bruce's love triangle between Harvey Dent, Rachel, and Bruce. So my question for you guys is, what do you think would have happened if Alfred had given Rachel's letter to Bruce? I personally think burning the letter was the right decision, but what do you guys think?
I wholeheartedly agree. It was the right move. Alfred was fully looking out for Bruce. That would have destroyed an already broken man. Like, that would have sent him over the edge, allowing Bruce to think the best of Rachel, the best of their relationship after she had tragically been killed that way. Alfred did the right thing. No question.
I think that Alfred made a selfish choice, if you ask me, and I think he did it to try to protect his son because he was looking out for his feelings. But if Bruce's mission was one that was really about the betterment of Gotham City, then he could have known the truth. And if he did know the truth, maybe he would have fought a little bit harder to save Harvey Dent, is what he would have done, to honor the memory of Rachel. So I think that we saw the fallout in The Dark Knight Rises when I failed you. I failed you, sir. And I burned the letter and I failed you. And so the ruby, the size of a tangerine.
All right, Hector.
Oh, you really are a prince of Maine, a king of New England.
God, so good. All right, so good.
Michael of Caine. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you. Okay.
Never.
So what's everyone's favorite scene in a movie that is filled with favorite scenes? I love that action sequence, the car chase with the 18-wheeler. It is a remarkable thing how they shot it. If you pay attention to Wally Pfister's cinematography, if you are looking at all of the elements that had to come together, it's just remarkable. And perfect button at the end of the scene, Gordon.
I remember when I saw it in theaters that got a massive applause when Gordon showed up, but also when the truck flips over and Batman goes up on the wall on the bike and he lands, the audience went nuts. They cheered for Batman, and it was so cool. It was great.
No, that is an amazing scene for sure, but I also remember really, really enjoying the scene when Batman decides to go get Lau, the accountant, back from China on his own.
So cool.
That was wild.
And then he just yanks him out of that window of the building in Hong Kong. That was something amazing. The audience also lost it in my theater when they just get sucked right out of that window. That was great.
So great. My favorite scene might be a scene that, like, on paper seems like, how did they pull this off? I'm talking about the scene where Nurse Joker comes in and sits down and goes, hi, and like apologizes to Harvey and then has to like convince him, no, I'm not really a guy with a plan, and gives him the gun, and I'm a dog chasing cars. And I think the writing in that is really strong, and I think that performance is amazing and so fun. And then it leads to Joker with the malfunction and blowing up the hospital, and yeah, that's great.
I mean, it is just astonishing, and it is also, again, so well shot. Like, they were really going for it in terms of what they could accomplish. So let's talk about the ending. Gotta be honest with you guys, don't love the ending of this movie.
Oh no.
Yeah, it's not like
controversial.
I know. Yeah, it wasn't my fave, but what about you guys? What do you think about the ending? Is it the perfect setup for a sequel? Do Bruce and Jim make the right call? Like, what do you guys think?
I think in terms of setting up a sequel, I feel like I have no idea what the heck is going to happen next. It's not a cliffhanger ending necessarily. It's not him turning over a Bane card and being like, okay, this is, there's none of that. It's just, it's a bit of a downer ending, but it's also kind of hopeful and inspirational, because I think that the ending really perfectly fits the tone of the movie, which is, this is not an easy thing for Bruce Wayne to do, to be Batman. He's taken a lot of hits. He loses people he loves. And Jim Gordon understands that. And Bruce Wayne's whole decision is that we want to keep Harvey Dent good, which I think is really interesting. If people of the city found out that Joker got to him, then we'll lose the city. So I think that it matches that tone. And I love those last couple of shots where we're following Batman on the Batpod. It's just like really super cool. But it does not leave me thinking like, okay, we know what the next one's going to be. Like, I had no idea.
No, I concur 100% with you, Hector. I mean, he's the hero the city needs right now. Mm-hmm. He is our Dark Knight, our protector. The reason that Bruce becomes Batman is because he, as Bruce Wayne, can't do anything. He can't fight crime as a known billionaire man. But as Batman, as a symbol, he can protect the city the way it needs to be protected. And in that instance, absolutely protecting Harvey's reputation is the most important thing. So if that means Batman becomes a hunted villain, then that's what Bruce is going to do. I think it's a very powerful ending and a really important ending for that character, because for Bruce, it's always been about what he knows has to be done for the greater good. And I think he did it.
Do you guys remember the first time you saw this movie, where you were like, I remember we talked a little bit about the audience like bursting into applause at a handful of times. And I remember very clearly going to see this with my mom and dad and my best friend Sarah back in Atlanta. And I was just about to move to Los Angeles. I was like weeks away from making the move to LA.
Yeah, I remember seeing it. This was the days of midnight showing. So I got out of the theater. It was 3 a.m. But you still had so much energy. It's like you drank Red Bull or something. But I remember really just being so impressed with it, but also trying to wrestle with my comic book brain of like, okay, are we going to see Robin in the next one? Are we going to see Mr. Freeze? Are we going to see Riddler? Are we going to see, I had all these things that I wanted to see as a fan, and was so impressed with the two movies up to this point. And again, talking about that last scene, I love that Jim Gordon's child was saved. But I was also kind of bummed. I'm like, I would have loved it if it was his daughter instead of his son, because then his daughter could have become Batgirl in the next movie. And then years later, we find out there is like an 8-year time skip anyway. And it's like these things of like, I want to get to the rest of the DC universe. I want to get, but it was still, it's just like incredible to watch.
I saw a midnight screening here in Los Angeles as well. And then I definitely went and saw it again in IMAX. And then I found myself overseas in Berlin shortly thereafter, and I was staying across the street from a movie theater, and the only movie that it was showing in English was The Dark Knight. So I saw The Dark Knight at least 4 times in that theater in Berlin. I really saw the hell out of this movie on the big screen, and I have no regrets.
All right, friends, any final thoughts, requests?
Yeah, no, I have one, Clark, actually. Do you want to watch 2004's Catwoman again?
Batsham. You know that some men just want to watch the world burn.
Pretty good, Clark. I think you can
That
work
was-
on the commitment, but pretty good overall.
Okay.
It's good.
Now, I'm very impressed.
Okay.
And I do just want to watch the world burn.
All right, that's it for today. This was so much fun. No, I'm not gonna. I can't do it like Hector.
No, I think you should commit, and you should do the outro for Michael Caine. That's what I believe.
Do you think so? You think so?
I do think
Hector?
so.
Okay,
Yes.
well, that was so much fun. I can't do it now. I'm losing it. All right, that was so much fun. Join us next time for more DC Daily. Now I don't know what that is. Okay, too
Never.
much fun here. Bye, guys.
Never.
Thanks for watching.